And the 128 will get the pass around the pace car as he was obviously lapped by the then leader Augie Grill, who went to the pits, so he gets the wave around for the 128 of Justin Alsip. Lucky dog that time, the free pass that time going to Bubba Pollard. So Pollard, despite all of those pit stops, is back on the lead lap. So Bubba Pollard back in contention again as the crew tries to make that car better. Kyle Benjamin, the youngster, teenage driver, the leader on the outside of Mason Mingus. Field coming to green, 2:18 at the line, and Benjamin leads the way.
Benjamin Mingus, your top two, as Derek Griffin in the 25 car works around the 51 of Eric Jones. That battle for third spot. Very hard racing for that third spot. Jones on the bottom of the racetrack. Griffin up high. They come to line 2:19 in the board.
19 laps past the halfway mark and still 15 drivers on the lead lap and plenty of cars still out there racing. Haven't lost many through attrition over the first 200 plus today. Running in the lead and pulling away right now is easily South Carolina teenage driver Kyle Benjamin. When it comes to young drivers, you see without a dad that's in NASCAR right now, we're going to see in NASCAR that Kyle Benjamin kid. He's a wheelman. Benjamin leading the way in the 71. A driver we have to give a call out to right now is Anderson Bowen, last year's Rookie of the Year with the Jegs Tour. Anderson Bowen in the 29 car finished top 5 in their standings a year ago, top 3 actually, and Bowen in the 29 went a lap down early in the race on the third caution of the day, got the lucky dog, and right now shows himself in the 7th position. Some smoke out of Preston Peltier.
Mason Mingus with the race lead. Mingus in the 98 car goes to the race lead off turn number 4.
Preston Peltier in the 261, heavy smoke coming out of his car. He's going to drop down into the pits, so Preston Peltier with problems. Grill moving through the traffic a little quicker than Johnny Van Dorn is in that number 61. Van Dorn, dominant car early. Since then, just going away, and that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm sure they haven't made any major adjustments unless the track has changed that much. But Van Dorn in the 61, still pretty strong. Still a long way to go, 168 laps remaining. Benjamin slowly on the backstretch coming out of 2. Gonna bring out the caution. So caution flag out. Kyle Benjamin in the 71 car having some sort of issue. Car gets refired. He's gonna come to pit road. Kyle Benjamin in the 71 down a lap because of the penalty for stopping to bring out a yellow. He's a threat to get back on the lead lap. Just needs a caution and be that number 1 spot that's down a lap and get the lucky dog. Green flag coming off of 4. 2:43 completed the line. Closing in on the 150 to go mark and into the lead Mingus as Jones fighting hard on the inside. Jones wheel to wheel down the backstretch for the lead.
Jones has Mingus's number those last 2 restarts and give Eric Jones the race lead off of turn number 4.
Braden and Griffin battle for the number 3 position. Griffin holding the high lane, Braden on the inside groove. Double wide racing for the 3rd spot as well as the 6th spot. Cody Coughlin on the outside. It's Bowen moving up on the bottom. Here comes JVD, Johnny Van Dorn as well. 87.9 FM through the fans in the stands and those in the pits here at Winchester Speedway. Jason Seltzer and Adam Mackey bringing you the coverage of the 42nd running of the Winchester 400. Final event of the season for the point season for the ARCA CRA Super Series. Of course, have a couple of events to go on the campaign. Non-points races as caution waves. Rick Turner has spun in turn number 4. The Y-Town Hustler, Rick Turner, has spun in turn 4. A couple of final events for the season. Non-points races at Memphis International Speedway and Fairgrounds Speedway in Nashville. Only one I see not coming to the pits necessarily, still riding around to the outside groove. That's Daniel Hemrick in the 98. So Hemrick not coming to the pits. I think he might be the only lead lap car not coming pit side. As here they come, big pit stops, 284. Depending on how many green flag laps we see towards the end of this race, this could be final pit stops. We saw some drivers go over 120 on the track early on in this race. Braden into the pits, one of the stronger drivers here as of late. They're going to change left sides, going to save a set of rights for later. Chase Elliott into his pit stall. Down all the way around 1 and 2. That possible $100,000 winner from Jegs at 61 of Johnny Van Dorn, who in the middle portion of this race has been struggling. First out of his pit stall is Anderson Bowen. Second out goes Chase Elliott. Bubba Pollard also coming out, but he's got something with him. That's the fuel can on the left rear of Pollard. That's going to cost him as he takes some pit equipment with him. Pollard shakes it off down in turn number 2. Chase Elliott nearly runs over it a few seasons ago, and the green flag is out, back underway, 292 complete of the Winchester 400.
Spread out just a little bit, your field, as we go back to green. Jones able to fight back on the inside of the racetrack and want the race lead. Hemrick not giving up, though. Hemrick slips a little bit through turns 3 and 4 on the high groove, and Jones by half a car length at the start-finish line.
Jones working forward, though. Pressure rubber on the 51 of Eric Jones. Jones pulling forward, maybe out of 4. He can clear the 98. He does clear him in 3 and 4. Goes up to the top side. New leader again, the 51 of Eric Jones. Hemrick back to second. Battle for third continues. Mingus on the high side. Van Dorn on the low side. Mingus's car seems to be running A-OK right now. Doesn't seem to be missing at all. Car up to speed, challenging for third. But Van Dorn on the bottom lane, going for second as well as third. With Hemrick and the 98 car of Mingus, both the 98s running well late in the going of the 400.
Gotta be careful racing with Van Dorn. Got that jagged sheet metal hanging out the right side of that machine. Don't want to cut a tire down on any of the competitors that he's racing with, but move Van Dorn up to second spot as he tries to run down your race leader, Eric Jones. 297 laps in this time by.
Well, you see sticking out there a quarter panel bracing on the number 61, where it's tore away some of the fiberglass panel from the 61 of Johnny Van Dorn, who has moved up into the number 2 spot, back to the third position. The 98 car of Hemrick.
346 laps in, and problems for Scott Neal. Grabs the turn 2 wall, way out of shape down the backstretch, off the pace. We stay green for right now.
Scott Neal was one of our front runners in the top 10. 7th place last time by for Scott Neal. He's going to spin it around down in turn 4. He's going to bring out a caution. Scott Neal loops it on the bottom lane down in turn number 4. He had a tire go down, needed to get to the pits. And whether or not that was on purpose, it was well done by Scott Neal in the bottom lane as he heads on to pit road, bringing out the caution with 348 laps complete.
Corrected quickly. Now comes to a stop at the entrance of pit road is the 17, and Neal tries to get the car refired as the field slows down. And with 52 to go, 51 to go when they get back to the line, who comes for tires?
Final strategy, maybe final pit stop. 350 in, 50 lap shootout yet to go. Less than that whenever we go back to green. Well, let's see who's got what left when they come to the pits. I'm sure right side still left for most of these guys. Augie Grill, the leader, in. So is Johnny Van Dorn. Unfortunately, Johnny's way around turn number 2, so other pit stops start first. Chase Elliott crew goes to the right side. They've got a good pit crew here today. Chase Elliott crew working on the right side. Eric Jones crew changing right side tires. Jones down and away already. Jones actually going to beat Chase Elliott out of his pit stall. Jones might end up being the first one out of the pits, and Jones has a very fast number 51. As Rich Lucius, crew chiefs for him today. Daniel Hemrick down and away. All the way down in turn 2, we see Van Dorn's pit stop going on. Right side tire change in the Van Dorn pit stall, and he's off and away. He comes out behind Jones, behind Elliott, behind Therio. I think of the drivers that pitted, he comes out 4th.
Really important set of lug nuts to get tightened up right there. Green flag, premier head starter, Brian Duncan, and Jones with the high side, the momentum. He'll take that and carry it down the back stretch with the race lead. Van Dorn working around Chase Elliott, give Johnny Van Dorn second spot.
Van Dorn able to clear Elliott, as mentioned, that 4th place position, great place to restart. Now we'll watch the 112 of Augie Grill. Grill in the number 5 position, gets by Mason Mingus. Grill has been one of the fastest cars all day, the red 112. But so is Jones, so is Van Dorn. They're first and second with Jones leading.
Jones, an ARCA winner over the Berlin Raceway up in Grand Rapids, Michigan earlier this season. And new second place, give it to Chase Elliott as Van Dorn slips back to 3rd.
Van Dorn looked like he developed a push down in turns 1 and 2 last time around. He drops it down to the bottom lane in 1 and 2 this time. Definitely not up to speed. Could he have a tire going down? Johnny Van Dorn, hopes of winning today, starting to look like they are going away as the 29 of Austin Therio goes to the inside. Mason Mingus all over him as well down in the corner. Mingus and Theriot get together. Good save by Theriot. He does rub the wall a little bit. He'll keep on going. Don't think the car is going to be that badly damaged, but Austin Theriot got some contact from Mason Mingus. No matter what, I've said over the years announcing here at Winchester, if the leader has a straightaway lead with 10 to go, somehow something happens that down on that final lap or two, somebody else gets up there and challenges. And that again looks like it might be the case today, where it's going to go down to the final laps of this 400. 388 complete, 389 next time. If you've never been to the Winchester 400, you've got to get here. I missed another big event that I've called for years today to come to Winchester because it's such a huge event. There's not a more exciting racetrack in the nation that I've done a race at than this Winchester Speedway. And right now, Eric Jones leads, 10 laps to go, coming off of turn number 4 this time by.
Definitely put the Winchester 400 on your to-do list. Wasted way too much of my life not here. Found the place and been loving it ever since. What's going to happen with just a handful of laps left? Cars approaching lap traffic. The distance between first and second, 3, maybe 4 car lengths. Elliott much better down in turn number 1.
9 to go, some heavy traffic ahead. He's been able to clear Eddie Van Meter, been able to clear the 84 of Newick, so is Chase Elliott. But up in front of him, 26 of Turner, 2 of Wilson, 71 of Benjamin, and the final car on the lead lap, the 61 of Johnny Van Dorn. In line for that 100 grand bonus if he could win today. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's got a chance though, and he is guaranteed of at least 10 grand for winning the 2 races earlier this season.
Here we go, coming around, 393 in the books and 7 to go. Your leader is still in lap traffic. Brian Duncan escorting a few of these cars up out of the way, telling them to find the bottom of the racetrack. We'll see what happens as they try and work around the 2 of Donnie Wilson. A car length and a half separate your top 2 with 6 to go.
Donnie Wilson, a couple of laps off the pace, running in the 13th spot, moving over for the leaders, the 2 scoot by. Kyle Benjamin up next in the 71 car. He shows in 14th position, moving over. Benjamin a couple of laps down as well. Johnny Van Dorn coming right up ahead for the 51 of Jones. 5 laps to go, shown by Brian Duncan. Final 5 circuits of the 2013 42nd running of the Winchester 400.
Van Dorn shows courtesy, finds the bottom of the racetrack, lets your leaders by to sort it out. 4 to go when they get back to the start-finish line. Still Eric Jones over Chase Elliott.
Through 1 and 2 they race. The 51, that Kyle Busch Foundation. Number 51 of Eric Jones leading the way. Busch has been in victory lane for the 400. Jones has not, but with the Busch crew, is leading the way with 3 laps to go. The lead is at 2 car lengths. Elliott loses a little more ground, coming off at 2 that time.
Pressure laps coming here. 2 to go when they get back to the line. We'll see what happens. Bring us home, Adam Mackey.
Eric Jones in the 51 maneuvers turns 1 and 2. That 2 to go signal up this time. Down the backstretch, Jones' lead at its biggest right now that it's been in recent laps. Elliott losing sight, losing a chance to maybe get within striking distance. Jeff Foltz right ahead for Eric Jones. Foltz will move over to the bottom. White flag final circuit. Off of turn number 2 down the backstretch. This driver started in the 4th position. KyleBuschFoundation.org. Project Pink, Toyota Racing Development Car. 2011 JAGS champion. Eric Jones wins at Winchester. Elliott second. 3rd spot, crossing the line, will be the 98 of Mason Mingus off of corner 4. Finishing 4th will be Augie Grill. 5th spot, Daniel Hemrick. In 6th, Austin Theriot. In 7th, good run for Cody Coughlin. And in 8th, Johnny Van Dorn. One of the cleanest Winchester 400s ever. The most lead changes since 1975. And this race today was an excellent win. Stick around, race fans. The winning 50-50 number will be drawn soon. It was over $600 for the 50-50 today. And we'll get a word with all of our top finishers. Great to see a lot of cars finish this race today. Probably one of the biggest finishing fields we've ever had at Winchester for a 400. We knew that coming in, this was one of the stoutest fields we had seen. As Jones attempts to burn out on the front straightaway, celebrating a victory at Winchester the same year he won the Snowball Derby.